Welcome to this impromptu live from Ouro Preto, Minas Gerais. Just waiting to see some people come in, but yeah, pretty crazy town here in Minas Gerais. I'm just showing the back here. Crazy. I picked a really good spot. Um, yeah, it's an interesting town for sure. For those of you who are watching, even though it's not live, I would have to say it's a very difficult this city to sort of navigate, in my opinion. It has beautiful historic, churches and streets and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I'm I'm glad I came. I spent a little bit, probably less time than I thought I should have. Um, the weather actually stuck with me. I got here yesterday and it poured rain. Today, nothing. Like, it's beautiful. I'll show you guys this church. It's like a 300 and something year old church. And back there's more. And the hills, the rolling hills of Minas Gerais. Oh, I got to the chat. There we go. It's been a while since I did a live. If anybody can tell me how I can bring the chat up. I can't see the messages. Okay, maybe it's on now. Maybe they'll pop up, I guess. If anybody's in, just say hi or send a message. I want to see how this works. I'm using it horizontally. Yeah, it's an incredible city, worth checking out. If you've ever been to Minas and didn't come here, probably a big mistake. If anybody has any questions about Ouro Preto, I would say be prepared to walk a lot, be prepared to climb a lot and go downhill a lot. I am exhausted. I did some vlogs. Hey, Jebruker at Chinam. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. But, okay, now I know the chat's working. And look, people are riding horses. That's how old this city is. What else can I say about this place? It's crazy. Like, I don't know. The food is great. I'm gonna do a live in Belo Horizonte probably on Friday when I go back there. I think this is the girl that gave me the tour, the mine tour, but I'm not sure. I won't flash the camera there. You can even see church over there. It has some of the best views I've ever seen, man. Honest to God. If you can stomach going uphill a lot by bus to get here, if you're okay with heights, you will be fine coming to Minas, or Ouro Preto, I should say. It's not super busy. It's somewhat busy in the town today, but it's not that bad. I've seen busier touristy towns for sure. More horses going by. Like I said, guys, this is an old colonial town. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Just make sure you're ready for rain or any type of weather. And it's actually quite humid. It looks like it's chilly here, but it's actually quite humid. And the sun has been able to peek itself out today. I'm actually very, very fortunate because had it rained today, I would have been screwed. Let's be honest. In the rain, climbing these hills, it's very unforgiving. Very, very unforgiving. So Another interesting thing is not a lot of tourists from outside of Brazil come here. It's generally a lot of Brazilians from other parts of Brazil. Actually, I just did a museum tour, and there was a family from Redondonia. I can't remember the name of the place. It's like way in the west part of Brazil, like southwest of the Amazonas. If anybody knows the exact name, I forget. Redondonia. I forget. It's one place I'll go, so I'll have to know. I'll have to know the name if I'm gonna go there eventually. You know. Uh, I'm literally doing this live in the middle of a vlog. There's a food place that I wanted to go to that is like they call it sem balança, which is essentially you pay per weight, and they have really good typical food from Minas. So that looks like it's gonna be worth it, but that doesn't open till 6 p.m. so local time. Let me give you guys more of a look of the valley. My place where I'm staying is down there, probably behind this area, this cluster of homes. So I had to walk from the bus station to my place in the pouring rain. And I'm not really complaining, I'm just simply saying that just be prepared. And there's no Ubers here. They do not have Uber in this town at all. They have taxi. They have their own application as well. Yeah, it's a very old, it's a over 300-year-old city. It's not as big as, it's not as old, I should say, as many of the other top Brazilian cities. Like Rio's about 500 years old. But this place probably is about 350 tops. And predominantly, this was a mining city for gold, hence the name Ouro Preto, black gold. I went on a mining tour. It was pretty crazy. A mine tour, not a mining tour, but a mine tour. Like you go into the mine shaft. What's up, Chicago Mike? Yeah, it's a beautiful place here, and this, you might want to know this, but a lot of viewers will want to know. It's very safe here. You can walk around the downtown here anytime, pretty much. It's quite chill, very safe. There's not, the other issue is the cars, because a lot of these streets are not made for the modern day car. They're made for horse and buggy. So you have to watch where you're going, kind of thing. And actually, there's some of the streets down there that it's a tight squeeze. I had to like go up against the wall, otherwise the mirror of someone's car would have swiped my arm, take my arm off with them. Let's catch another look here. I'm at one of the highest points so that I can get a good signal, because the internet here sort of is wishy-washy. It's definitely one of the most beautiful. If you like historical and architecture, old architect, yeah, it's definitely one of the most beautiful. It kind of reminds me of Petropolis. I did a vlog there a bunch of months ago. It's very similar to Petropolis, but I would say it's got way more history than Petropolis, without a doubt. Like I said, I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate that the weather held off. There's some locals looking at me, but I'm very lucky that it's actually much better weather than I expected it to be. What else can I say about the place? I would stay. Tyrone Power. Hello from Carambu, Minas Gerais. I have been following. Oh, I lost the chat. I've been following you for months, ever since your Curitiba video. Well, thank you. Your video motivated me to come to Brazil, and I've been living for 4 months now. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad I was able to inspire you. I hope you're enjoying Minas Gerais. Minas Gerais is quite the state, I have to say. It's an interesting state. Chicago Mike says, the Mineiros have a good reputation. Yeah. I know a few back in Canada, a couple friends from a town called Ipatinga, which is east of Belo Horizonte. It's about like 2.5 hour drive, I think, or maybe more than that. I would go there for sure. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying Tyrone. I hope you're enjoying Minas Gerais. I wonder why you chose Minas Gerais? It's just at a on a whim, or you researched? Yeah, I want to do a live at this place because I think this view deserves to be seen. I don't know how good the quality is, how well you guys are seeing it, but hell. And now I'm getting some sun, so that's even better. The people, Tyrone Power says, the people, Torresmo, yeah, Torresmo. I don't like Torresmo actually, but apparently they have a really good Torresmo here in Ouro Preto. Tinder matches compared to São Paulo. Okay, cool, that's cool. Hey, as long, wherever you go in Brazil, if you're happy there, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if I know a buddy who I met in Belo Horizonte. You'll see it if you watch my vlog in the next week and a half or so. I'm gonna start editing them, but he's living in Belo Horizonte, and he's happy. He met a girl there, and it's not exactly Belo Horizonte's not for everybody, right? It doesn't have beaches, and he likes beaches. He's been to Rio, but he still says he really enjoys Belo Horizonte. I enjoyed Belo Horizonte too, but I'll do a live there and talk about Belo Horizonte next week. Anybody else have any questions about Ouro Preto? I'm not going to do a very long live because first of all my battery is low, but it still would be okay to do a little bit longer, but I won't do like an hour live or anything like that. But like I said, I want to try and do a live in every new city possible that I go to. The one place I didn't get to do one was Curitiba, actually, funny enough, because the weather was so crap. Wasn't very fortunate with weather in Curitiba. Actually last night when I was drying off after being out, it didn't rain at night, so I was able to go out and whatnot, but relax and whatnot. I was like, I'm hoping that today is gonna have good weather, and there we go. This kid's screaming like crazy. Yeah, I'm glad you were able to see it, Chicago Mike. If you like historical stuff, this has got to be the place to go. Even Belo Horizonte. If you go to Belo Horizonte, you can come here. It's a 2.5 hour bus ride. If you drive, it's like an hour and 20 minutes. But quite safe. I find Belo Horizonte quite safe. It's beautiful here. It's beautiful, and the weather's still really good. The only issue I would have personally with Minas Gerais, this is personally, is that there's no beaches. I'm a beach guy. I gotta live in a place that has a beach. That's what makes me happy. A lot of other people will probably agree as well that at least Brazil has a lot of choice when it comes to beaches. I take my sunglasses off once in a while because I can't see the screen that well, so I'm making sure. Cost of things here, I wouldn't say it's super expensive. Certain things, yes. I paid for 2 nights at a pousada, which is an inn, INN. I paid, I think it was 500 reais, which is like just over 100 US. So that can be where it could hit you, but it's only because this is a very touristy spot. Yeah, Canada, yeah, Chicago Mike says after cold Canada, yeah, I gotta spend more time in beach towns, but I'm a historical buff, so for me this is, amazing. And I say in past videos that I don't like to go and check out churches and go into churches because I've seen so many, but here it's worth it. It's insane how beautiful they are inside. You'll see in my future videos. Speaking of beaches, Rio versus Florianopolis. Ooh, they're kind of different. Floripa has beautiful beaches, like really beautiful beaches, but they don't, as far as I know, they don't have the really beautiful ones like Arraial do Cabo and Búzios and those places. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows that, but I've seen beautiful beaches in Floripa, but I don't think that they are in comparison to like Arraial do Cabo or whatever. So I would give the edge to Rio when it comes to beaches, but Floripa's like, I mean, they still have beautiful, very very beautiful beaches, so you can't go wrong if you ever to go to Floripa. Have you been to Parachi? No, that is going to be my next destination after this place. Funny enough that you mentioned that. I'm gonna try and go within the next month or so, maybe a month or two, I don't know. It's just that the weather has been really shitty there, like really, really shitty there. Heavy rain, and it floods extremely easy because it's not like this town where it's on hills, all the water will go somewhere, right? There it's flat and it's old. It's one of also the oldest colonial towns as well. So there it floods, and it's been raining the last little while. So who knows when I'm gonna go there, but I'm definitely gonna go there. These people are getting on my nerves. I picked a spot where no one was here, and now there's like the people keep accumulating. I think it's for the photo shot. Let me just turn around here. Maybe change the angle a bit. There we go. Just make sure it's lined up. Yeah. Like church here, as you can see. I probably saw 4 or 5 churches today. Each one more beautiful than the next, like inside. And I'm not a religious guy, so for me, I don't have meaning when it comes to that. Now the child's gonna cry here. Chicago Mike says, you gonna do the other historic cities in Minas? Not this trip. I would like to, but I'm only spending a week in Minas or so, 8 days approximately. So I won't have time, but I am going to one place that's going to be a surprise. I think I'll try to fit in a live there if I have time, and you'll all be surprised as to where it's going to be. I bet you guys have no idea where it's going to be, but it's in Minas, and it's going to be an interesting, very interesting town, to say the least. Beautiful place. Daximus looks beautiful over there, and much warmer than here in the US. It's actually really, really hot. Really, really hot. Now that the sun's out too, but it's a little bit humid. Tyrone Power asks, have you been to Campos do Jordão? No, I have not. But I have been to São Paulo, pretty much just the city. If I was to spend more time in the state of São Paulo, I would go to Campos do Jordão. It's definitely a place that's on my list. I have a very long list of places that I gotta check out, you know, and do some vlogs, do some lives. So that's definitely on my list. There's like São Paulo has way more than just the city of São Paulo. That's for sure. I don't know if I think it's because the sun's right in my face, so the screen, and I have a really bad screen protector which blocks anyone from seeing on both angles. Shit. Hold on. Daximus says, any plans to check out Recife area? Olinda is a cool historical town. It's such a cool historical town. Yes, I will be going there. Those are both on my list. I think someone else said something, but I didn't catch it. They're definitely both on my list. The thing is with how do you open the messages here once they've faded? I'm still new at this live stuff, man. Philip says, I'm moving to Brazil at the end of the month from the UK. Been watching your videos recently. Well, thank you for the support, Philip. Where will you be going? Jabrookers asks, can you tell me what's the main difference between Fortaleza and Rio? I love Rio, but sometimes a little bit too crowded. Probably Fortaleza is going to be a little bit less crowded. The go-to place. So I haven't been northeast of Brazil, so I'm not really sure. I can't tell. If anybody in the chat's been to Fortaleza and Rio, if you can compare the two, let me know. Chicago Mike says your channel's growing. Yes, it is. Thank you. I'm happy that it's growing. I enjoy doing YouTube. I have a lot of fun with it. I like showing places to people. Philip says, oh, at the Axios, thank you. Yeah. I have a lot of fun showing people these places. I try to be a positive influencer and want to give the motivation for people to come and check out Brazil. If you're really unhappy where you are, this could be the change you need. And I've talked about this years ago when I first started my channel. I don't do videos too much now, like in the theme of like advice type videos. I find them, to be quite honest, boring. I like the vlog type videos. I like going out I always say going out into the field and showing everybody what's up with, places around Brazil. And I've been to some shady places, and that's okay. You got to get dirty sometimes without getting injured. I don't know, everyone seems to be flocking here, maybe because I'm alive. But I prefer vlogs personally. I don't know what you guys prefer. If you prefer informative videos. Daximus says, my wife is Brazilian and we've considered moving to Brazil. The US feels like there's so much turmoil, and we find we want to disconnect from this to a slower pace of life. Yeah, Brazil is definitely a slower pace of life, depending on where you go, of course. Chicago Mike asks if I've been to Portugal. Yes, I have. I went in 2016 for a couple of weeks, and I really enjoyed it. I would say Portugal's the next similar thing to Brazil when it comes to culture, certain foods. I mean, obviously the Portuguese came here, so they left a mark here, but I think Brazil kind of created its own thing, obviously, built off from the European style, especially the cooking and the tradition. It's much more diverse here than a European country. And I mean, that's just the way it is. Portugal's a small country. Spain is a small country, in comparison to South American countries. So a lot of different changes here. But yeah, I really, really love Portugal. I do. Maximus says, do you find yourself missing North America? No. The only thing I miss about North America, not the only thing, but there's a few things that I miss. I miss some of my family, but I do visit often enough. I miss the education, and I don't mean like going to school. What I mean is the manners and the etiquette and things like that. The day-to-day, how you're supposed to treat people, common courtesy. I miss that more than most things, because here the culture is just it can annoy you, especially if you're someone who's not used to it here. There's a lot of things that I can talk about that. Our own power. Also, English books, hard to find here in Brazil. English books, yeah, or people who speak English. That's hard too. You won't find too many. So I have to, and that's actually really the only pain in the ass for me when I do my vlogs. I'm being totally honest with you guys, as having to put the translation, because it's so time consuming. Yeah, that's probably the worst thing about doing YouTube for me, is the editing of, not editing videos, but adding in the subtitles. It's just time consuming, because when I speak to somebody, I have to put them in. So what I try to do now is I'll say it after someone speaks, after I have a conversation. I'll try to, if it's not too much stuff going on, not too much information, I'll say what the person said, or I'll explain, I'll translate it. Daxman says, I wonder what it would cost to hire a Brazilian to put translations in for you. Yeah, that's a good question. Sorry. I would consider doing that, but only if I could find somewhere that's relatively cheap. Someone who, and you probably could find them, but you guys also trust people that they're going to do the right job. I could translate. I have no problem. I understand. You guys know I speak Portuguese, but I could do that in the future. Maybe I will, you know, when I get less cheap. I am not a drinker now anymore, but I did try one of the local beers. For me, beer doesn't taste that good anymore because I've stopped for almost a year, but it's not bad for a local beer. Chicago Mike, Upwork is good for freelance. Upwork, okay, cool. I guess that's a website or an app. Looks like some rain is coming maybe over there. Who knows? Philip, do you like cachaça? I tried some here just today on a tour, but I'm not really big on it. Okay, thanks Chicago Mike. I will definitely check that out. But cachaça, yeah, I used to have it once in a while, like, you know, when I was a drinker. Nah, not anymore. Not anymore. Anda no Brasil. Anda no Rio, Brazil. Beautiful place. Thank you. Yes, it is. Very beautiful. I've been on this chat for now close to almost 37 minutes, right? 37? 28, sorry. Almost 30 minutes. I didn't think it was that long. So I won't stay on much longer. I will probably head out to drop some stuff off going all the way down there. And maybe find some sweet. Maybe I'll have like a little snack, I don't know. The other thing I've had to do here is have fluids because it's, you know, it's tiring, man. Just climbing up and down hills, up and down. It's crazy. Let me show you guys again this church, because for those of you who weren't in the chat. So I'm just like sitting on this simple little area with a beautiful old church. Like you can't find too many cities in Brazil that have all of this, you know. A lot of restaurants just down this part of the town, which is the center of the city. Chicago Mike says, how did you get there? Bus? Yeah, I flew into Belo Horizonte, and then I took a bus from the downtown in Belo Horizonte, which was about a 2.5 hour ride in the rain and on like high mountain slopes. So you're looking at this view, one little slip up by the bus driver and it's all over. So you don't want to think about that when you're getting here, you know. Chicago Mike says it looks like Braga in Portugal. Yeah. The architecture is very reminiscent of Portugal. Obviously, they were the ones that were coming from Portugal and they built what they know, right? So it definitely it feels like you're in Portugal. I mean, if you're a Portuguese and you come to this city, you would feel like you're kind of at home, but kind of went back in time a little bit because it's much older than most Brazilian cities, right? I think the oldest city, don't quote me, is Porto Seguro, Salvador, and Rio de Janeiro. Not in that order. I don't know the order, but I think those are the oldest cities in Brazil because they were the ones that basically started when the country started, like colonization and whatnot. They're like 500 years old. But this is like, I think, 350 years old, something like that. Still really old when it comes to European exploration and whatnot. Yeah, I really enjoyed it here. People are friendly. You can find tour guides everywhere. You can find little cafes everywhere. You can find pharmacies here. They have little stores. I went to a really good restaurant last night. It cost about 180 reais, but it came with like a ton of food and a dessert and a coffee. That would be like, what? Not even $50 US, $40 US, something like that. So you're definitely gonna enjoy the food from Minas. I don't know if you've had it, you'll know what I'm talking about. And it's very, it's got its own flavor, you know. It's not like when you go to Rio, it's kind of like the beans, rice, and a meat. Here it's like they got different types of rice. They got pork meat if you like pork meat. They got salads. Um, they've got whatchamacallit, I'm thinking kiabu, but I can't remember the name in English. Okra. The desserts are different. They've got tons of cheeses here. Cheese from Minas is like one of the most popular things. Queijo Minas. That's the common quality cheese that they have here. I think I just felt a raindrop, but I'm not going to stop yet. If anybody has any questions before I do leave in the next few minutes. Aximus says, gotta head out. Thanks for streaming it. No worries. Glad you could join. Thanks for being part of the live. I think these two guys are drunk. Is there some locals you might encounter some locals, but they're not like the drunks in Rio. So any last comments? Você vai fazer uma live? Não sei. Era uma surpresa. Thanks, Philip, for joining. I appreciate it on such short notice. But I'm glad I got to do one here because it's worth it. So I'm gonna end the live there. This was just to, whet your appetites onto checking out a little bit of Ouro Preto. We'll do a live in the next two cities I'll be in, Belo Horizonte for sure. And thank you all for joining. And we'll see you guys in the next video, the next live. Signing off from Ouro Preto. Ciao.